Well, hello there, my dear friends, and a very warm welcome back. And I mean a warm welcome back to the Scott Bree Project. It's been some time. In these crazy, crazy times, I have been absolutely flat out, but it seems to be stabilising a bit now. So, back to the job of the SRP. So what we're going to be doing today then is a very, very, very old school classic sausage recipe, good old beef bangers. Now, years ago, 30s, 40s, very, very popular sausage. I think it's lost a little bit of its sexiness. Why, I don't know, because I absolutely love these. The flavour is amazing. Yeah, they're just absolutely brilliant. That's all I can say. They are absolutely stunning. So, to make these beef sausages, we're using the best cut. As you can see here, I got chuck or brazen steak, whatever you want to call it. And as you can see, plenty of fat, plenty of marbling. If there isn't enough for my recipe, I will add some beef fat, which I cut off this morning. Some beautiful fat off the top side, and there's a bit off the sirloin. So it should be a good one. So we're back in the SRP HQ. I've got some new lights, I've got some new kit. So first thing we need to do is spin round, go over to the sausage making table, yes, all posh, and weigh the ingredients out. So some nice new bits of kit then. Well, second hand. Over in the corner you can see there, that's my latest requisition, the planetary mixer. Now I always mix my sausages by hand, but I thought maybe try a mixer. Obviously they do in butcher's shops, just to see if it changes the texture. It's a hell of a beast, that bad boy. Then here I got a new sausage stuffer and, wow, one hell of a mincer from the absolutely brilliant Western Fowler. And of course you've seen my lovely vintage scales. So what we need to do then is weigh out these ingredients. So follow me down. So it's blowing an absolute gale outside today, as you can see, creepily on the blinds. So what I need then is 3.5 pounds of beef. Only goes up to 2 pounds, so you put the weights on the back. There's 2 pound on there, so as soon as that reads 1.5 pounds, we're in business. Now, like I said, I might add a little bit more fat. So we got 3 pound of chuck there. So I'm going to cut a little bit off. See where we are with that. Yeah, and then I can add just a little bit of this fat, just that to me is absolutely perfect. So get back to the block in a minute, chop that up before we get through the mincer. Give this a wipe out. So the binding, the rusk, I need 1/2 pound. Another beautiful vintage bit of kit here. This scoop, it's what we used to use years ago. So I've took the weights off the back and it will just read normally. So 1/2 pound, 8 ounces. Nearly there. Just over, that'll do me. So the first thing we need to do then is get our rusk soaking, get our bowl. Now, as I've said many times, rusk can take 2, 3 in a push times its weight. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start with 12 ounces. So that's 1.5 times its weight. So ice cold water into my tray, and then always adding your rusk to the water, not the water to the rusk. You get a more even distribution. So simple as that. Now that ice water there was obviously ice cold. As soon as you add it to that rusk, you can feel the heat coming off it, so it's imperative you put it in the fridge, which we'll do as we prepare the meat. Right, there's our weighed out meat and fat. Stay there. A receptacle to put it in, and of course the sausage seasoning. So I'm using a beef sausage seasoning. You can get this from Weschenfelder or go online and you may find some other ones, but don't bother, they're the best. So what we need to do then is cut up this meat, this beautiful, beautiful chuck. Big enough to go down the mincer. Absolutely fantastic cut of meat. Chuck steak, braising steak. Does exactly what it says on the tin. If you want to cook this, you need to braise it or put it in stews or casseroles, but it's absolutely ideal for sausages. In fact, it's one of the best. This, maybe some flank meat, some brisket, but we're just going to dice it real quick. Bearing in mind, you know, this is going in the mincer, so don't be too fussy. Let's get this fat sorted. So it goes in, let's get rid of that. Right. So, get my meat into the bowl and then sprinkle on the seasoning. Like I said, the beef seasoning, this is beef sausage seasoning. This is 2 ounces. So 3.5 of meat, 2 ounces of sausage seasoning, 8 ounces of that rusk, and then like I said, we'll put a pound in weight in, which is basically a pint, but I've just started with 12 ounces, 3/4 of a pound. Now this is what I like about these sausage seasonings, really old school. It's got the pigment in, so immediately it's turned it that colour. You know you're going to have a cracking looking end product. So just put that on chill for a while, along with the rusk. Have a look at that, and we'll be back. So on to this magnificent beast, this lovely new mincer of mine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the fat to one side, and then just put the meat through, and then I will put the fat on top and give it a good mix. Beautiful colour, beautiful colour. Now years ago they'd have made a beef sausage or a beef and tomato. I mean, what's not to like? It's beautiful. So just get our meat through. Now you'll notice I never put the seasoning on the fat, purely because fat does not take on the seasoning. Very old school. So we just put our beef through once, and then just get our fat through. So there's the start of our beautiful sausage. And as you can see, I put that fat in. You can see the nice white specks there. Next, we need to add our rusk. So if you have a look at our rusk then, it's nice and inflated. It's not absolutely soaking wet, so we can add a bit more liquid. And of course, more importantly, it will retain all that beautiful fat, which, as you know, is the flavour. So we'll get that in there. And then get your hands in. Just give it a preliminary mix. So, just judge it for yourselves. Add a bit more liquid. And mix. I do apologise about the rustling of the apron. So, what we need to do then is send that through the mincer a second time. Absolutely stunning machine. So, we'll give this a quick mix by hand, and I think we'll put it in my new toy. Load her up. Still trying to get used to where everything is now in the SRP HQ. So before we fire this beauty up, there's a little story about this mincer. I bought this second hand and I went to the house to pick it up, and it belonged to a bloke who passed away. He used to make sausages, bless him, and his son-in-law was selling it. You know, we got talking, he said, oh, what are you going to do with it? And I said, well, I'm going to make sausages with it. He said, oh, that's what the father-in-law did. And he had some more pieces to sell, and I said, well, I'll come back tomorrow. Anyway, I go back the following day, and he says, I've just figured out who you are. He said, you're Scott Ree, ain't you? And I went, yeah. He said, my father-in-law used to watch your videos. That's how he learnt to make sausages. And I just thought, how cool. And I said to him, wow, this will be put to good use. It will be looked after. Right, let's fire it up. Just going to add a spot more water. That's just brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Just stop it a minute. Look at that. Beautiful. Let's give it another blast. Still trying to figure out how to work it. Scream if you want to go faster. Well, that has done an absolutely wonderful job, as I know it would. You know, in all the butchers they always use mixers. Save my little Dannies. Right, I'm going to get that on chill, sort out the skins, and we'll get these piped. So I'm locked and loaded in the machine then, and I've got my skins here. I always use sheep's casings when I'm making flavoured sausage. They are a bit more fiddly, obviously a little bit more delicate and harder to get on the end. I always prefer to have my flavoured sausage in a thin casing, but by all means, if you want to make these, use hog's casing. It will taste exactly the same, it's just preference. Like I said though, these lambs casing, they take some getting used to. They're not so forgiving as the hogs. Right. Now you've heard the saying, a bad workman blames his tools. Well, here's my take on it. For years, I have used a left-hand cranked machine. I have now got a beautiful right-hand crank machine. So, I'm still getting used to it. But you know us Brits, in the face of adversity or sausage making, we just go with the flow, baby. I'm talking of the flow, here it comes. So trying not to fill these cases too full. If it makes sense, about 2/3 full. Obviously this is quite a stiffer mix, this beef. So just take your time and slowly, slowly catch us the monkey. So if you can see, I'm just steadying that skin, just holding it back with my fingers here on the end of the nozzle. Just so it's not just firing away like those bad boy electric sausage makers, you know, which will shoot off about £10 in a minute. This is old school, baby. This is vintage. I'm thinking that little bit there might have a little bit too much in. So just slowing it down, just give it a feel. I do believe we're coming to the end of the mix. Beautiful. Okay, everyone's favourite part, the tying of, the linking of. So, we start measuring sausage. How big do we want it? When do we want it? No! So, we're making 3. Trying not to twist the main body of the saucisson. And then we just go along, twist, pull up. Now this is where you'll find out if you stuffed them too tight, because 1, they won't twist, and 2, they'll burst on you. So better to have them understuffed than overstuffed. And it's just practice, you know. So we go through, look, sausage, pinch. So there's 1 sausage, we'll make 2. So we lift up the next one, put it over, pinch, there's 3. So through, twist, bring up the main coil on the top, under, twist. Always tricky to get this on camera. Nice. And there you have your beef sausages. And what was left in the machine, this cute little thing. Hopefully we may be able to cook that. Obviously these have got to be left at room temperature. Obviously where there's a little bit of breeze, you know, nice and cool, just for about an hour, just to come down to ambient temperature, then overnight clang in your fridge, about 4 degrees centigrade. What will happen is they will swell, fill the casings and bloom. All that wonderful colour will come to the front. But yeah, there is our beef sausage making masterclass. Still got it, ain't I? Well, there you go, my dear friends. Some of the finest beef sausages known to man and woman. So it's really good to be back. It's been a long time, and I hope you've enjoyed this episode of the SRP. If you have, please click subscribe when my beautiful face comes down here in this corner here. Also, like this, share it on your social media with all your friends. Oh my God, what's that, the ghost or something? Also, check me out on my social media on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at the Scott Reed Project. And if you feel generous and want to help the channel along, please check out my Patreon page, and I will put a PayPal me link in the description along with the recipe. Honest. So until next time, my friends, where the next video you'll be very interested in, it's about my latest book, Trying to Flog Your Stuff. Take care and see you very soon. All the best.